Today we discussed about chapter 6, life processes. First of all, we discussed about the term metabolism. Metabolism. What is metabolism? All chemical activities occur inside the cell known as metabolism. All the chemical activities occur inside the cell known as metabolism. Next topic, characteristics of living organisms. Main characteristics of living organisms. What are the main characteristics of a living organism? Example, they have movement, they need nutrition, they respire, they grow, and some body activities like excretion, respiration, sensitivity, etc. Movement, living organism can move, they need nutrition, they respire, growth, excretion, body activities like excretion, can reproduce, and also have sensitivity. Next, virus. What is virus? Virus is the link between non-living and living matter. Virus can only grow and multiply inside the cytoplasm of another organism. Virus have some living and non-living characters. They can only grow and multiply inside the cytoplasm of another organisms. They can only grow and multiply inside the cytoplasm of another organism, living organisms. Otherwise, they act as dead material. Virus consisting of a core particle and a covering. Virus consisting of a core particle and a cover. Core particle may be DNA or RNA. DNA or RNA. It is the genetic material. It is the genetic material. Virus with RNA is known as retrovirus and others are DNA viruses. The cover is a protein coat. Protein coat called capsid. Next topic, difference between mechanical respiration or breathing and chemical or cellular respiration. Difference between mechanical respiration known as breathing and cellular respiration also known as chemical respiration. What is breathing? First, breathing, that is mechanical respiration. Breathing means the gaseous exchange, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen through respiratory system. Through respiratory system, that means respiratory organ. Breathing means the gaseous exchange gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide through respiratory system. There are different types of respiratory systems. In case of human and other higher animals, the respiration occurs through lungs, that is known as pulmonary respiration. In case of frog and earthworm, the gaseous exchange take place through the skin, that is known as cutaneous respiration. In case of adult frog, there are two types of respiration, breathing, that is through lungs known as pulmonary respiration and through skin is known as cutaneous respiration. In case of cockroach, trachea is the respiratory system. Next, chemical respiration. Chemical respiration, that is cellular respiration, that is the splitting of glucose and release energy in the form of ATP. Splitting of glucose and release energy in the form of ATP is known as cellular respiration. Splitting of glucose and release energy in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. In case of higher organisms or multicellular organisms, living organisms, mitochondria is the site of cellular respiration. But in case of unicellular bacteria, mesosome are the site of cellular respiration. Mitochondria and mesosome are cell organelles. There are two types of cellular respiration. Two types of cellular respiration. First aerobic and second anaerobic. First aerobic cellular respiration. The splitting of glucose occur in presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. Presence of oxygen. The splitting of glucose take place in presence of oxygen means aerobic cellular respiration. Second, anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic cellular respiration means the splitting of glucose occur absence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration usually seen in some bacteria, some anaerobic bacteria and members of fungi like yeast. In such cases, the splitting of glucose occurs absence of oxygen. But in case of other organisms, the glucose splitting in presence of oxygen. Another organisms like human. Next topic, difference between anabolic and catabolic process. Anabolic process, that is construction process, and catabolic, that is destruction or splitting. Process. Example of anabolic process. Example of construction process, that is anabolic process, that is photosynthesis. Example of anabolic process, that is photosynthesis. It took place inside the chloroplast. This photosynthesis took place inside the chloroplast. Chloroplast is a cell organelle that present in green leaves. Chloroplast is the cell organelle with green pigment that is known as chlorophyll. Photosynthesis occur inside the chloroplast. Here green plants absorb water and carbon dioxide, and in the presence of sunlight they produce glucose or carbohydrate. That process is known as photosynthesis. Example of catabolic process, that is cellular respiration. That means the splitting of glucose and release energy in the form of ATP. We already discussed about this cellular respiration. Next, definition of nutrition. Definition of nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition is the process by which living organisms obtain and utilize food for their growth, development and maintenance, called nutrition. The process by which organisms obtain and utilize food for their growth, development and maintenance, called nutrition. The process by which organisms obtain and utilize food for their growth, development and maintenance. Called nutrition. Next topic, difference between growth and development. Difference between growth and development. Difference between the terms growth and development. What is growth? Growth is an irreversible process. Increase in number and size of cell, organ or whole organism is known as growth. It is an irreversible increase in number and size of cell, increase in number and size of cell, organ or whole organism. Next, what is development? What is development? Development is the whole series of quantitative and qualitative changes in growth, cell differentiation and cell maturation. Development is the whole series of qualitative and quantitative changes in growth, differentiation and maturation. Development is the whole series of quantitative and qualitative changes in growth, cell differentiation and cell maturation. In case of single-celled organisms like bacteria, cyanobacteria, euglena, amoeba, etc., specific organs are not formed for life processes. There is no specific organs for life process. The life process like respiration, digestion, etc. Here entire body surface of such unicellular organism contact with the environment. In case of single-celled organisms, there is no specific organs for life process. Not formed for life processes like respiration, digestion, etc. Respiration, digestion, etc. Here, entire body surface of such organisms contact with the environment. Entire body surface of such organism contact with the environment. Environment means the space where the living organisms live, that is known as environment. Here simple diffusion helps for maintain all such life process. Here simple diffusion helps for maintain all such life process. What is diffusion? What is the term diffusion? Diffusion is the movement of particles, especially solids and gases, passing from their higher concentration to its lower concentration, known as diffusion. Movement of particles like solids and gases passing from their higher concentration to its lower concentration, known as diffusion. To its lower concentration, known as diffusion. In case of multicellular organisms, special organs perform different body functions. In case of multicellular organisms, special organs perform different body functions. Example, kidney maintain osmoregulation and alimentary canal for digestion. Kidney maintain osmoregulation. And alimentary canal for digestion. We can explain the life process of unicellular organism amoeba. This is the plasma membrane or cell membrane that cover the body of unicellular organism amoeba. This is the pseudopodium. Pseudopodium, that is false foot. Amoeba moving from one to another direction by extending the plasma membrane. So, the extending part is known as pseudopodium. Helps for movement. Here is food vacuole helps for digestion. This is one of cell organelle of this unicellular organism. The food vacuole helps for digestion. Here is the nucleus, another cell organelle. Nucleus control all cellular activity. Control all cellular activities, or nucleus control other cell organelles. Here is another contractile vacuole. Helps for maintain osmoregulation. That means excretion. Now we complete today's session. If you like this, please like, share and subscribe.